Hey everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of words, recorder of videos, and tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to the Monday edition of my bi-weekly behind-the-scenes DM-only live stream, Drafting the Deep, in which I build right bear for next session of Call from the Deep. Sorry, I run up and down the stairs like 3 times trying to get organized. If you're playing characters Gottwald, Mock, Safra, or Twirl, this stream is not meant for you and will be full of spoilers. For the rest of you, thank you for your patience for this rather late start. We stream our D&D sessions live on YouTube every Friday. You can join our official Discord server with invite link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. For our campaign, we use Roll20.net for streaming. I use OBS Studio. Why is there like a white van parked outside of my house? What the Alright. It's got LG service on it. Are they like casing my house? They better appear a neighbor or something. I don't recall calling LG service. Why does LG even have their own service? Do they service TVs? This all seems very sus. Sorry, I'm off my game. We had the week off last week. We had the little lake house vacation, and we're back at it right now. And by the way, during our previous Monday update, I believe I prognosticated about the fact that we were going to be down a player, Chris, again, the most reliable of players, this week. He's on a giant 2-week-long vacation, and I expressed concern that, like, well, I'm down my most reliable player, so if I have somebody else that needs to back out or cancel, that's going to be down 2 players, and we generally need to cancel the session if that happens. Well, unfortunately, that has happened. We had a player have something come up, and they had to cancel this session, which means I'm down 2 players. Now, normally, as I said, I would cancel the session. And it's an unfortunate rare case of just not having enough players, which honestly almost never happens for us. Usually we cancel because of we just got vacation stuff or something planned going on. In this case, though, we just had a week off, so I feel bad about going 2 weeks. And I thought, well, maybe I can pull something together for a small reduced party, which is not something I've really tackled before. And obviously I said Chris is the one that's still on vacation. Reese was the one that had to cancel, so it would be Heather and Raymond. Unfortunately, the 2 getting the most kid aggro as well, which does make me nervous for the session. So my options were to either cancel the session again, which again could be a fine option. But we're in a unique situation where we're between quests. We're in a city. So I kind of have options for just throwing something out there as a little mini side venture that we can do. You know, I'm not looking to fill probably a big, we're just looking at like a 2-hour session with 2 players. So here's my thought process on that. I think I'm going to go with this, which again is kind of unprecedented because normally I would just cancel the session. So instead of canceling, because we wouldn't have enough players, I'm going to do a small side venture. Obviously, I need something that's ready to go, but it has to be extra small. Like, I think looking at something like something from Radiant Citadel or Candlekeep Mysteries or Golden Vault would all be way too big for my purposes, because I really want to just start and stop it during this one little side venture, and then we can, as like a literal, like, hey, we're back from this quest. Some people have some downtime and others have to go on this little, essentially side quest. So I need to be wrapped up. It needs to be a one-shot. And yeah, it needs to be for reduced players and be generally pretty small and quick. So real quickly, I was trying to look at stuff. And ironically, this is one that I haven't actually reviewed before. And maybe I should, because I'm planning on possibly running this thing. It is from, I should have pulled it up on the marketplace. Let me do that real quick. I can search it on here. There it is. It's from Kobold Press, which I have used a bunch of times before. Our current patron DD game, which is recording tonight for our next session, is from Kobold Press. So I've used their content many times, and Tome of Beasts is very good series. 12 Peculiar Towers is a collection of a dozen tiny dungeons, basically, that are shaped as towers. And I tried to real quick thumb through and see what would be the most thematically appropriate and easy to run in a city. So obviously I don't want to use some kind of pyramid desert tower or some kind of tree tower, and they have all these different cool options and themes and biomes. I need something pretty simple. The two that were the most relevant was a lighthouse and a like a thieves guild tower. The lighthouse is designed for level 1, so it's a little overly simple. And the Thieves Guild Tower is the one I think I'm going to settle on, which is called the Guildmaster's Retreat. Again, this is 12 peculiar towers. It's available on Roll20, as well as, I believe, the Kobold Press website, and it comes with these dozen different dungeons. I have not reviewed this. I probably should. It's just one of those that, I review something every week, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I believe it came out probably only like a year ago or so. Oh, cool, Lumpy. I've used one of these towers before, the Bloodstone Tower. Nice. So I just kind of flipped through them real quick and was like, all right, these are kind of cool. They've got the maps, you add them in like a like an add-on, which means if you all haven't done this yet, really trying to work through my process here. Loading. You would click on your game in Roll20, and then you go down to game add-on, and then you click this, and then you would search for it in the bar, and you can add it to your game that way, and then it'll appear as its own separate like journal entry of stuff. So that's what I've had to do for all the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. By the way, for the purpose of this campaign, hopefully you all have realized this by now, but I started it with Call from the Deep, and then I added Ghosts of Saltmarsh to the campaign instead of the other way around, because I believe Call from the Deep could not be added piecemeal, whereas Ghosts of Saltmarsh could. So that was just kind of the obvious way to go from there. So I've added a bunch of the individual modules from Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which I think you can do for all of the anthology things from Roll20, which is pretty handy. I know at one point when I first reviewed like Candlekeep, I think that was a negative I had for that adventure. But then I think they went back and changed it where you could do it, add individual modules, which is really nice. So that's what I've done. I've added the Guildmaster's Retreat. So that's what we're going to talk about for this session. I am pivoting. I'm doing a bait and switch. We're not going to talk about the final enemy or Sahuagin Stronghold at all. I've had, and to be fair, Reese did let me know like either Monday or Tuesday, so I've had a couple days to think about it, although we spent all day yesterday driving to Dallas to buy a pool. But I was waffling between literally canceling the session or doing something. I was like, well, let me see if I can just find something to cobble together just as a fun little side venture and see if this is a disaster or not. And maybe it's a fun way, like it's almost as a TV show with an ensemble cast. We're watching the X-Men animated show, not the new one yet. We're still finishing the original one. We started like a year ago, and then we've watched other stuff, and now we're on like end of season 4, I think, watching it as a family. But something they do all the time, they have a huge cast obviously with the X-Men animated show, but they'll focus on like, oh, this episode only has like, Gambit, Rogue, and Wolverine in it as they go meet Nightcrawler or something, or this one will only have Cyclops in it as he goes to this one, community of mutants. So they just focus on like individual characters and not all the time have the full roster available. Obviously, it's not how D&D normally is played. You do have your full team, but I think there's a chance to go on a little side venture here. I also have a good plot thread, though, which works out very well. Another reason why I chose this particular mission, because one of the adventure backgrounds and hooks is the Guild Master of a Thieves Guild, which I'll probably tone that down and just make him a kind of a mobster. Jaren Vane, which is a fucking awesome name, is responsible for the theft of valuable property belonging to one or more of the PCs. If you recall, between our Neverwinter Attack a quest arc and the Pirates Skyhold quest arc, Savra dropped off a item that needed to be repaired, right? It was the Cube of Force, which she found back in the Wreck of the Golden Crown. Pretty powerful magic item, but as written in the adventure, which is pretty interesting, it's actually damaged. So you have to get it repaired and pay a monetary cost, which I don't think I've actually done anything like that in a D&D game. I'm curious if any of you have done something like that, where you give somebody like a magic item that's pretty powerful, but it's actually damaged and unusable when they first get it. And it's not even part of necessarily a quest to fix it, which could be a different thing. It's just, hey, you just need to go to the nearest town and actually pay money as a additional cost, I guess, to just finding the item. And the cool thing is she dropped it off and then went on this whole adventure. So the way I can present this quest arc can be very personal instantly, which is she goes to pick up the item, and the I'll have to look back and see whatever the NPC was that was going to fix it has been robbed. Has been robbed and took that item, and maybe they didn't pay their protection or something, so they kind of ransacked the store, and now because of the attack on Neverwinter, maybe these bandits, this organized crime ring down here is becoming a little more brazen. But although the store owner maybe got to mention the fact that, like, oh no, this, I work with the heroes of Neverwinter or something, and can kind of put the fear of that in these bandits. So I thought that would be a really cool instant buy-in for the players, because we'll have Savra and Mac can put on his cop persona basically and be like, oh shit, and maybe he'll have some information on that I can give him that his character would be aware of in terms of who these people are and the kind of organized crime ring they've got here in the city. And then obviously with Savra, it's her item that has been stolen, so I think that will work pretty well. And that's a good point, Demnix. I think if you're gonna have I don't want to like rate my player characters or anything, but I think if you're gonna have two players separated from the others, then the two that have all these summons are probably going to actually be pretty decently powerful still. In fact, they're still a very good duo. The thing that they're mainly lacking is the tankiness, because Gottwald is obviously as a fighter, has a lot of hit points and good AC, and weirdly Toril has like a monster AC and still pretty good hit points. So they'll lose like the Hunger of Hadar and just a whole bunch of HP and tanking opportunity, but they still have all their summons. Savra will have spells. I will allow the players, both Savra and Mac, to be fully long rested, which I think will be important coming off of that quest. However, I'm going to hold off on having them level up. So they're actually still going to be level 6 for the purposes of this adventure, because it just makes more sense to wait until we get the whole party back to fully level up. Otherwise, we'll have to do 2 different level up sessions. And I think it'll just be better organized if we do all the level ups together the following week. So I'm going to belay that, which hopefully won't upset them too much. Be like, hey, we're not actually going to level up quite yet, but you will get a long rest. And they'll do this adventure, and then they'll get a chance to long rest again. So balance-wise, I'm actually not too worried. The main thing I'm worried about balance-wise, which we do need to talk about, is that this particular adventure is designed for 10th level PCs. So that's obviously a problem, because it is... let's see, where does it actually say that? Yeah, there we go. A scenario for 4 10th level characters. So I'm going to have 2 6th level characters. I have got to tone this thing down quite a bit, but it should be pretty easy because it's just humanoids, it's just thieves, it's just dudes. So like I have to come up with a bunch of different kind of monster stats or anything. It's a lot of secret doors. I don't think they have any rogue type abilities among them, but I do believe Mac has a decent sleight of hand. Is that true? Does he have Thieves Guild opportunities? I feel like it's like I haven't always been a cop. Or maybe he just breaks down the door. I know Gottwald breaks down doors. I don't know if he necessarily has a thieves' tools. Who's been picking locks? Have we ever picked locks? Or am I just thinking of Baldur's Gate too much? I don't remember if we've done that so far. It might just be that Gottwald's been breaking down doors. Because the one tricky thing about the Thieves Guild is it does have locked doors everywhere, so they will need some way of breaking in. I'm not sure they have those. It's not water involved, so Sabra should be happy about that. And unfortunately, I don't think Sabra has a lot of the utility wizard spells, like the knock spell and all that. It's mainly damage. Maybe she could get kind of tricky with Find Familiar. She does have Rope Trick. Does she have any teleportation magic? I don't think so. It doesn't have invisibility either, so not the best heist stuff. But this one's not necessarily needs to be heisty, but it is supposed to be kind of just a dungeon crawl when it comes down to it. Trying to see what all options they have other than damage. The other thing is they should be careful. Although these are the 2 worst players for doing that, is they should be careful not to just murder people. I mean, these are organized criminals and thieves, but Mac would probably know going in and like literally murdering people would be bad news bears. And yet the 2 things you can't do non-lethally as written is spells and arrows. So that could be a little tricky. Maybe not. Yeah, and tanky cheese for sure. Cheese isn't even that, like the AC is 16, it's not that good, but the fact that he can just continually dodge is actually a huge one. All right, so we're going to need to pare down all the stuff here in order to, which I guess I could even add this as a temporary quest for them. Make it a little bit more palatable for our lower level players. Let's see, scroll down to, it's just called the Guildmaster's Retreat here at the bottom. All right, adventure background. Jaren Vane, a guildmaster of a thieves guild, is a powerful man. At times, even a man of his means needs to hide. Windward Tower is his sanctuary, high on the cliffs overlooking the city harbor. I don't think Neverwinter has too many cliffs, but we can certainly put him in the harbor. Maybe we'll just make it so the tower is pretty reinforced and wasn't actually attacked much. Or maybe it just overlooks the harbor, I don't know. Therefore, he waits for the danger to pass before returning to the guild. And so we're definitely going to use the first one, which is responsible for the theft of valuable property belonging to one or more of the PCs, and is not inclined to bargain with them or return the goods. Knowing the reputations, he's locked himself away in Windward Tower. So it should be just a pretty... There won't be any investigation part of it in terms of where, like, the goods are. Like, they'll be able to say, like, yeah, I recognize they're thugs. Or maybe I can include a little bit, like, give descriptions of something, and then Mac, I can just tell Mac that, like, hey, you would know and you would recognize, like, these belong to this particular organization. You also know where their headquarters are, and this is similar to the what was that? The Beach Leviathan, the tavern they went to. This is a group of villains, and probably a lot of people who are in that tavern were belonging to this crime syndicate. I don't know if I want to call it a thieves guild, but I don't have another good name for them. Windward Tower is the name of the... It's just a actually, it's a 3-level tower plus a roof map, which is kind of neat. 14 rooms, seems pretty simple. It's actually, the tower is almost too small, so it might work really well for 2 players. I mean, it's really, really tight quarters in here. And unfortunately, this looks like it was pre-new doors, so I'm going to have to replace all of the doors in the tower. No real outside area either, which is fine. Square stone tower stands 3 stories tall. A short flight of steps leads up to the only door on the ground level. There are numerous small windows on the top 2 floors. Now, Savra can climb on walls, and Mac can also climb because of his ranger ability. So that is 2 things they have. So they may take advantage of that because they both seem to remember their abilities when it comes to climbing. Traversal, is that in Deft Explorer? Which one? I think it's one of his ranger things gave him. Somebody help me out with that. What is that? I'm not seeing it in here. Maybe it's Deft Explorer. Okay, there's roving at 6th level. I guess it is part of Deft Explorer. Your walking speed increases by 5, and you gain a climbing speed and a swimming speed equal to your walking speed. That is hugely useful for rangers. And a great ability for him to get. And Savra's got the slippers of spider climbing. So both of them could climb up to a upper story window. So that would actually be a really fun way for them to infiltrate this area. It looks like they have a balcony here. That's kind of confusing. They call it ground floor and first floor. I don't like that. Who the fuck would... If it's not the ground floor... Well, I guess that is how... I'm trying to think. How do, like... apartment buildings works. I know it says G for ground and like P for parking. If you're like hitting an elevator button, does it go immediately to 1? Does it go from G to 1? So first floor is actually the 10 feet higher than the ground? That doesn't make sense to me. So it's 3 stories, but it's ground floor, first floor, and second floor. All right, whatever. I'm overthinking this. A balcony does overlook the bay on one side of the building. That's awesome. So they can get up to the balcony. That would be pretty visible then. While not a military fortification, the tower is sturdily built and does not provide easy entrance without an invitation, which it would be locked up. The door to the tower is fashioned of sturdy hardwood. DC 20 dex check using thieves' tools. Try to pry open the door by force. The noise alerts the sentries in Area 1's western room. Doesn't actually say what you need to... What skill check is required to pry it open by force. Many secret doors dot the halls and rooms of Windward Tower. Unless otherwise noted, a successful DC 20 perception check is required to notice a secret door, and a DC 20 investigation check is required to locate the opening mechanism for it. That's interesting, the way that just finding the door does not allow you to actually open the door. You merely note that its existence. Like requires a separate like finding of the like hidden button to actually open the damn thing. I don't know what kind of perception investigation. Actually, probably the two of them. I bet Max got good perception. She's probably got good investigation. Yeah, Sovereign's got a +8 investigation, and Mac has a +4 for perception. That's actually pretty low for a. Oh, that's right. Perception's wisdom, so he wouldn't necessarily have great wisdom. For a ranger, he's not. Which you can get away with not having super good wisdom as a ranger, because a lot of their abilities, you can take the spells that don't require saves or damage or anything. Like the secret doors, spy holes are the walls, the chambers within the Windward Tower. Many of these are hidden with elaborate designs or decoration of the walls, otherwise known as accessible DC 23 perception or investigation checks required to notice a spy hole. Okay, what I'm not seeing is any of those outer windows they talked about on the map. I only see the balcony, but the balcony could still be a useful. God, I love the detail on this map too. It's literally like a pool table right here. Like every room is furnished. Like this is awesome. This is. I love that this dungeon is just ready to go. Yeah, +4 is okay. That's true. Now it looks like the basic stat block, this Guild Thief, is going to be way too strong. So it's probably going to be the main thing we're going to edit is the actual minion. Again, this is designed for 10th level. So the minions are a lot stronger than what I would want to use. So the entry hall, which we may not even get to because I could see them climbing up onto the balcony. Requires a successful DC 20 dex check using Thieves' Tools to unlock. A poison needle trap activates if the door is opened without the proper key. So that's the actual inner door. So the outer door is locked and the inner door is locked. It's a fucking Thieves Guild tower. Western room, a pair of thieves hide in this room, observing the goings on of the ground floor. If they notice intruders, what are they just always hiding down there? If they notice intruders, one goes to alert the rest of the guards in the tower while the other continues to observe. The thief watches through spy holes, uses the hidden corridor around the perimeter of the ground floor to follow intruders' progress through the area. Oh yeah, you can go all the way around this outer area. It's like a haunted house with a crawl space or something. Secret doors in this room are obvious to anyone in it. Eastern door is just a cloakroom. Secret corridor. So is there a door there? There is. Okay, so they can just look through, I assume, all these little holes. Leads up the corridors. Spy holes not the one. Anybody ladder at the end of the passage. The eastern side leads up to areas 8, 13, and 14. Indeed, it does. Okay, interesting. A lot of little secret doors right there. It allows the thieves to get around that first floor. But that's funny. They're just somebody sneaking. Like, do they have that bad of a security system that there's always thieves just in the crawl space around, like guarding everything? Maybe so. Especially, you know, they might be on heightened alert because they just stole some goods and then they realize like, oh shit, these guys are probably going to come back for this. We need to be ready for them. So that might make it so they're actually on full guard mode. Let's see, the dining hall, which is this middle area. Again, very, very cramped quarters in this tower, which that was part of the idea. Is these towers are not, you know, huge dungeons. They're little towers. In addition to the visible doors leading areas 1, 3, and 5. So that's from the entrance, the west room, and then towards the eastern hallway. There are 3 secret doors, Jesus, leading to the western rooms of area 1 and to the secret corridors. On the map, I only see this one going up. 3 secret doors leading to the western room of area 1. Huh. And to the secret corridor. 1 spy hole slides in the northern wall near the secret door. The fragile table serves the covers worth 150 gold pieces. A drawer on the bottom of the cabinet holds silverware worth 100 gold. Let's just start stuffing silverware in our pants. Kitchen and laundry. Servants prepare meals, wash laundry in the room. The bells are attached to pole ropes. So should I have servants here? Do we think? Like, does commoners need to be in this room or no? 4 spies on the western and southern walls. Jaren sent his serving staff away temporarily when he went to hide and limit the number of people with access to him in his tower. Okay. Leaving the room devoid of its normal hustle and bustle. So the place is kind of on lockdown, basically. Okay. So they know that they stole it. They're kind of preparing, but also maybe they don't know when that's going to happen. So you can have, you know, the thieves might be on a little bit of a, you know, you could see them like hanging out and, yeah, doing the equivalent of like, oh, we just kidnapped somebody, now we're watching TV or something like you see in a movie. All right. right, pantry has no secret doors. Secret doors. And basically, opportunities to just find secret doors and pop out into this outer corridor, which would give you different access to above. Otherwise, it looks like there's only these two people here. So the players won't really be able to catch anybody unawares on the first floor, at least. But again, I really see them using their climbing ability because I can definitely like the fact there's a balcony on that second floor. And I think that's it for level 1, right? It's just areas 1 through 5, and then 5 has servants' quarters. No real treasure, but a couple, like, again, they can steal the silverware or something. So then you go to the second floor, which is actually the first floor, which has the balcony and looks like a giant kind of break room sitting area. Guest rooms in Area 6. These rooms house guests with the guildmasters here in less demanding circumstances. Unless the alarm is raised, 2 southwestern rooms contain off-duty guild thieves who are resting. Probably need to tone down the number of bad guys here as well. Although, like it's with all the summons they have, there actually can be a pretty full party. The guildmaster's twin bodyguards claim the 2 easternmost rooms. In addition to the furnishings in the rooms, the southern of the 2 rooms includes a battered footlocker that requires a 15 dex check to unlock, which contains just a little bit of money. For 10th level, it's 12 gold and 2 platinum pieces. A secret door connects to area 8, and that's the one that connects to the big roundabout crawl space in area 1. Okay, so what about area 7? The parlor, that's the word I was looking for, the big restroom. A billiards table, a sofa, armchairs. Decanters on the table hold a variety of liquors and wines. A humidor contains high-quality pipe tobacco. 4 guild thieves typically occupy this room when on duty, unless summoned elsewhere. They attack any intruders. If they're overmatched, they attempt to fall back down to the stairs and make their way to the guildmaster. Fall back to the stairs above. Double doors lead out into a balcony containing a pair of chairs and offers a picturesque view of the bay below. The doors are locked and trapped. Aha! So even if they get up there, a successful DC 20 dex check using thieves' tools unlocks the doors. But maybe I would allow them to bash the doors open or something. Maybe they're like windowy doors. Hinged balcony trap. Oh, this sounds fabulous. If the doors are opened, the balcony tips downward as the back railing unlocks from the side railing and falls away on a hinge. There is no fucking way I would ever go out on that balcony if that trap was set up. It's like, holy shit, are you kidding me? This thing is meant to fall. Each creature on the balcony is dumped 20 feet onto sharpened stakes hidden in the tall grass on the grounds below. Well, that's interesting. So if they end up climbing the wall from the back, you could argue they may see the sharpened stakes and may put 2 and 2 together. Huh. 20 feet up into sharpened stakes hidden in the tall grass on the grounds below. Fortunately, it doesn't say like what kind of perception check would be to see the stakes. Because normally if they just enter the front door, they're obviously never going to know that. But I'm just thinking if they do scope around and see the balcony and want to climb up that way, maybe they would see the sharpened stakes down there. In addition to falling damage, each creature takes 4d10 piercing damage from the spikes. God damn, those are kept very sharp. After the trap triggers, a counterweight resets the trap once the balcony is clear of all creatures. The chairs on the balcony are bolted into place and do not tumble to the ground below when the trap is triggered. That's hilarious. Successful DC 20 perception or intelligence. And again, I'll probably have to, that's another thing, is I'll have to lower like a lot of the damage and the checks and stuff, because that's all made for much higher PC. So I'd probably lower that to like, I don't know, 2d10 or something, 3d10 maybe at the most. And lower all these DC 20s to like maybe a 16 or something. That notices the actual trap, or at least the bolt, the gap between the balcony side and the back railings, and the fact that the chairs and balcony are bolted onto it. A successful DC 20 dex check using thieves' tools disarms the trap, locking the balcony into place. Alternatively, a successful DC 20 perception check in Area 7 notices a switch hidden behind the rack of pool cues that secures the balcony in place and prevents the trap from triggering when the doors are opened. Yeah, Jerry, did you fucking lock the trap? I want to go out on the balcony. Yeah, sure I did. Snigger. just laughs as he ends up on the balcony. Aha! Jerry, damn you. Secret room in Area 8, which is, we were talking about that one, the one where they get to the crawl space down below. And then 9, so now we go up to the second floor. And I'm doing a quick overview here, and then we'll probably have to readjust. So let's see, the stairs. So the one staircase here actually goes all the way up to the top, which is the only bummer. If you end up going into the main spiral staircase, you could just go all the way to the top and just bypass the entire parlor floor with all the dudes in it and just go right to the top. Although I guess you have to worry about all the minions coming in later. Trophy room in Area 9, pair of shields, a suit of full plate on a stand, variety of items, not necessarily things of value that hold importance to Jaren Vane. The following items can be found here, each with a small plaque bearing the name of the rival or enemy that gifted the trophy. A prosthetic leg from Captain Shifty Blackwood. Taxidermy owl. A braid of platinum blonde hair. Interesting. A tapestry who tried to break the guilds, worth 75 gold pieces. No actual, like, interesting loot traps up here, but I guess it's just stuff that has, like I said, more sentimental value and stuff. Like, you wouldn't have his, like, really good shit laying out. Plus, he would probably be armed with good shit, I would imagine. That's the thing, is I need to put, like, maybe some kind of good... I get the item would really be her getting her cube of force back. So I guess he could be using the cube of force, which would be fascinating. I don't usually play around with that, having an NPC use an item first. 10, the Guildmaster's bedroom. A tapestry depicts a civil scene with a number of men and women arguing what appears to be a forum. Jaren Vane, a thief lord, hides behind the bed in this room, waiting to strike any intruders that engage with his bodyguards. His twin bodyguards, Elmer and Marlowe, sit in the chairs by the fireplace. Well, he's just crouched behind the bed this whole time. They are bandit lords and are Jaren's seconds in command. If alerted, they pace the room, swords drawn. They're loyal to Jaren as he has brought them great glory, power, and wealth, and defend him to the death. They do not target Jaren with their redirect attack reactions, but they do use the reactions to protect each other. Jaren, though loyal to his underlings, uses the brothers to protect himself whenever possible. That's what they are paid to do. Should fight go poorly, Jaren attempts to escape, taking the secret door to Area 13. I don't know where your secret door... Oh, I guess it's through the trophy room. Okay, well, that's not your best escape plan. It tends to escape via a glider on the roof. Oh, so the... So does the stairs go all the way to the roof, or is it just that... Just that ladder out there? I'm not sure. Twins do their best to assist Jaren's escape. It is cool to be able to use this roof map, but him escaping could be a little awkward. The key to the safe in the adjoining bathroom is hidden behind a loose stone in the fireplace. Successful DC 15 perception check notices the loose stone. A locked door behind the tapestry requires a successful DC 20 dex check using thieves' tools to unlock. Do you talk about the safe contents? I guess we'll talk about when we get to the bathroom. Number 11, the bathroom. DC 20 wisdom check. Notices a tile on the floor beneath the tub is slightly misaligned. Strength check moves the tub off the tile, revealing a locked safe. God, this takes like 3 different checks. Jesus. Perception check, then strength check. Oh, you can use the key, I guess, at that point. Or a 25 dex check. Safe holds Jaren's personal cache of wealth. 10 sapphires worth 1,000 gold each. A potion of gaseous form, a chime of opening, which is very useful because that, I think, gives you like limited knock spells. PCs came here to recover their property. This property is also in the safe. Okay. So that's a smart location. You will have to go through the boss to get his stuff. It's in the safe in the bathroom. How do they know it's in the bathroom? Key to the safe in the adjoining bathroom is hidden behind a loose stone in the fireplace. It's not even on him. It's in the fireplace. Again, they should want to try to keep people alive so they can question them. False treasure room in Area 12. So normally you get the stairs, you go through the trophy room, and then you go into the main bedroom here, and then he's got... Oh, I see. It's actually hidden behind a thing, isn't it? Oh, that is not dynamic lighting there. That seems like a mistake on their part, then. Right? Is it supposed to be hidden? It looks like there's a... Is that the tapestry they talk about in Area 10? Tapestry depicts some sort of civil scene over men and women arguing, appears to be a forum. Doesn't say, but it looks like the way the map's described, this is actually put in front of this door. A pair of iron chests is on the western wall. A cabinet stands against the eastern wall, and a low shelf stacked with gold ingots sits opposite the door. The room is a trap for anyone trying to steal from the guildmaster. His true cache of treasure sits under the floor of his bathroom. The gold ingots are actually lead covered in gold leaf. Successful DC 13 intelligence check. Knows the truth about the ingots. The chests are trapped, requiring a successful DC Dex check. Each chest is empty except for burnt author fumes that are released when it is opened. Each creature inside the chest when it is opened is affected by the fumes. Okay. Didn't say what the fumes do. The cabinet is also locked, requiring a successful DC 15 Dex check using Thieves' Tools. When it is opened, a spring-loaded blade thrusts out from the cabinet. Why would you hide this room if it's the one that's filled with traps then? That's a weird placement there. Maybe it's not supposed to be hidden, but there's clearly some art that's been put here. The spear makes one melee attack with a +6 bonus against a random target within 10 feet of the cabinet. If there are no targets in the area, the spear doesn't hit anything. 40-10 piercing damage. Successful DC 20 Wisdom Perception check. Notices a metal plate in the back of the wooden cabinet. Moves metal plate from the back of the cabinet, removing the spring for the spear, making the cabinet safe to open, but it's all empty. Okay. Well, I feel like we should... I guess you can't swap them, though. I feel like it'd be fun if the players thought that this was the treasure room. Which maybe they are, maybe because it's blocked right here. And because the bathroom doesn't look like, it just looks like a bathroom. So this is the real treasure room. So I could still have a blocker here. Yeah, and then they can sneak their way inside. I can maybe delete the dynamic lighting, and then they can get through all these traps and realize they're all trapped in there. And then Vane, if he's still alive, would just be cackling. Secret room. Ladder runs up to the hole in the floor of this small room and continues up to a trap door in the ceiling below. So I assume that's the only way to get to the roof is through the secret ladder. And the actual stairs looks like, looking at the art, they actually end here at this top floor. And then you have to go through the secret door into that one little back room where the ladder adjoins all the different levels to get to the roof. Guild thieves stand watch. The glider can carry one medium or one smaller creature and gives the user a flying speed of 40 feet. There's a little bit of rules for taking it. I think that's the only information on there. I don't think it has any kind of epilogue. Let's see. Yeah. And there's only 3 stat blocks that are used, which Guild Thief is used as the generic minion stat block. Bandit Lord as used as his 2 lieutenants, I guess, which actually have more hit points than he does. And then the Thief Lord is designed for the boss. So the boss is, well, looks like the Assassin stat block. Maybe slightly modified Assassin, which is like a CR8. The Bandit Lord looks like a Bandit Captain stat block, but with a lot more hit points. 91 hit points, which is nuts. And then the Guild Thief looks like a leveled up spy, I guess. It's actually a pretty useful stat. I don't know if there's an equivalent to that, where it's somewhere between spy and assassin, like a CR4 rogue, basically. He's got short sword, crossbow, uncanny dodge, halves the damage from one attack. Jeez, that's a pain in the ass for an enemy to have. Cunning action and then sneak attack. Sneak attack doing 4d6 damage at that level. Wow. So, like I said, we'll have to change. I think I can run most of this as is, which was my plan, because I don't have a lot of time to prep. But the big thing we'll need to change is the stat blocks and the actual numbers of traps and stuff. I almost feel like there should be more traps. So what did we go through right now? On the ground floor, there's 1 poison needle trap at the main door. There are a lot of secret doors. Mainly, the first floor has secret doors getting to this crawl space outside the first floor. And then there's a secret door on every level getting to a ladder which connects the crawl space. And then with these little mini 10 feet corridors on each level. That's the secret door thing. But then, the only other traps is the poison needle trap at the entrance, the awesome balcony trap, which I really hope we can pull off because that's just fantastic. And then all the fake treasure traps in room 12. I think that's it for traps, which I guess is a pretty good amount. And then enemies, there are enemies abound for sure. So we need to replace some of these stat blocks. Traps, 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 like the crazy Dungeon of Doom. If you did anything, you instantly died. Like the Tomb of Horrors, you mean? You did nothing, instantly died, or lost your clothes, or had a sex change. Yeah, you're definitely talking about Tomb of Horrors. Forget where it is in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but on the DM screen it has trap event damage by level and your desired lethality. You're right. Wonder where I can pull that up in terms of balancing for the level they're at. I could pull out my book. Let's see. Trap. Xanathar's Guide has complex traps. It's just in the DMG though, right? Yeah, traps. Triggering a trap, trap effects. Here we go. I think this is what we're looking at, Demnix. A trap tended to be a setback. It's unlikely to kill or seriously harm characters. Dangerous trap is likely to seriously injure and potentially kill characters. And a deadly trap is likely to kill characters. So we're looking at 5th to 10th level, which is still a pretty big range, honestly. Save DC for a setback. Wait, now this is actually not done by level, though. The save DC is just done by, do you want it setback, dangerous, or deadly? So 12 to 15 is what they recommend, and if I use deadly at 16 to 20, what was the, let's see, for the poison needle and the balcony trap? Oh, it doesn't say. It just says poison needle trap activates. DC 15. Just to avoid being poisoned, it automatically does the damage. And then what was the balcony? Area 7. Doesn't even have a save. Oh, that doesn't seem right. I just realized. Each creature is dumped 20 feet on a sharpened stake sitting in the tall grass in the grounds below. In addition to falling damage, each creature takes 40-10 piercing damage. Doesn't even get a save for it. But all the checks to see it are 20. Which, that's, like, pretty high. Alright, what about the traps in Area 12? DC 15, plus 6, attack. I don't get the fumes thing. I think this Oether fumes is supposed to be, like, maybe a clickable link and it's supposed to do something. Open affected by the fumes. That must be some kind of error on Roll20's part, because there's no information about what these fumes are supposed to do. And the other thing is a plus 6 doing 4d10 damage, which 4d10 would be dangerous for 5th to 10th level. That's, huh. Setback is 2d10. Yeah, so I guess we're still using the same range, aren't we? Because we're talking about 6th versus 10th level. But also we're talking about 2 characters versus 4, which is another thing. Maybe I could split the difference and say 3d10 then, just lower the damage by a dice. I feel like you should get a save though, right? If you're falling onto spikes, you're already going to take falling damage, which is the automatic. Shouldn't you get some kind of save for, I don't know, contorting your body out of the majority of spikes? I just feel like any kind of trap that happens, you shouldn't get you should get a save for something. That don't sit right with me. You could tie in Mac's backstory by having a dirty cop in the hideout. Chance to want to roleplay and get some info. That could be fun, for sure. It's a fun idea. Like one of these is, yeah, on the force. Although the only problem with that is I think this group, the way I'm going to play it is they ransacked the store that Savra dropped her thing off of, her Cube of Force. And I think that the person they stole from would definitely say, like, hey, do you know who you're stealing from? almost what you would do to the good guys when the good guys or your anti-heroes are stealing something, like, oh, you just stole it from the big bad boss. It'll be kind of reverse of that, where it's like, oh, you stole from, like, this item is, from the Neverwinter heroes, or what we want to call them. And that would kind of give them a clue, like, oh shit, we need to batten down the hatches. So knowing that they might be coming, I don't know if it would make sense for anybody that any kind of dirty cop situation to be there at the moment. Versus if they did just show up randomly, then they may catch people unawares. I'm thinking, do we just use the spy stat block for the generic minions? Is that too weak? Because the spy is kind of the go-to, like, low-level NPC rogue. This guild thief just seems way too strong for a minion to populate the whole area with. It's a CR4 rogue. We can maybe get away with them for the minions, or even the boss. We may be able to use the assassin for the boss. I don't know. We'll see. But I think the spy might be a little more appropriate. Fortunately, we'll need to get proper art for the token. The spy is a CR1, has cunning action, has sneak attack, still has multi-attack with a +4. So I think the spy is going to do it just fine. They've got stealth. They've got all kinds of skills, actually pretty funny. Perception, persuasion, sleight of hand. Yeah, I think we can take advantage of using that stat block. Oh, they've already got a token art. I don't know if I want to use that token art, though. That looks like a guard. What is your go-to spy token? Does it do with the hat, right? Yeah, we could use that. That's fine. Alright, I gotta delete this one first, though, I think. So delete that one and bring in this one. So I think we're already downsizing it quite a bit. We're going from the... Yeah, I think it's going to have easier mobs. We got traps as well as a mini session in mind. Yes, exactly. All of that. So I've got lower level players, I've got fewer players, and I absolutely want to get this done in a single session, and a single session being like 2 hours. So I definitely think we need to pare things down. Now the players are going to be fully rested, and they're barely going to go through like even needing a short rest probably. So I'm not looking at this being a big challenge thing, really. They should kind of... It should just be a fun, and a lot of it's going to be like exploration based, again, trap based. And frankly, I think the spy stat block's actually pretty solid. Low AC is probably the biggest thing. Fewer hit points in the guild thief. What's the guild thief? Sneak attack's actually 4d6, which is pretty big. I do like this artwork for the guild thief, though. I want to try to use it, but I may use it for one of the more bossier characters. But yeah, still has multi-attack with +4 to hit. Sneak attack doing 2d6 damage. I think the spy is going to do just fine. So as a baseline, I think we can replace all of the guild thieves with spies. So let's do that at a 1-to-1 ratio real quick. So there's two. So there's nobody in the first floor. There's just these two guys kind of waiting. I may even split them up a little bit, because where are the doors? Yeah, maybe do something like that. Although we need to make sure that their tokens aren't visible from the dynamic lighting. I guess I need to start changing all the doors also. Door, door, door. All these are doors. The secret doors are going to be a little trickier. I may keep those as just the walls, because they're already perfectly like aligned with the walls. I don't necessarily want to fuck that up. It's not that big of a... Oh, yes, I want to restrict player movement. Why is that not on? Let's turn on locked door for you, and I think the rest are probably not locked. Door, 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 door. Put those in place. I would bet money that the players will not go through. These two players, especially with both having climbing capabilities, are not going to go through the front door. But in fact, we could easily skip this entire first floor if that's the case. They may like jump down to the first floor and just see this extra large crawl space. And if I'm really clever and think about it and want to up the difficulty, I could bring the ones who are chilling down here in the first floor as reinforcements in a future fight. Because I definitely see the players at skipping this whole first floor, which is great because the first floor doesn't have that much going on, frankly. All right, let's use... oh yeah, what's the lighting situation here? I mean, it's the inside of a... Dynamic lighting is off. Fantastic. Should we just put daylight mode, or do we need to bother... I guess if I want the crawl space to be dark, maybe I'll turn daylight mode off and just include like torches in places, because that could be kind of cool. So we'll put lighting like outside. So what's the light look like here? 2020, it's fine. All right, so light should be there, here, not in closets. We'll put them in here. Hallway gets light. Stairs gets light. I guess inactive bedrooms would not have light necessarily. Kitchen area would. Put it there. I could leave the entire crawl space dark. Do it like that. Because I think this is the most undark vision-y party we've ever had, if I recall. So that's, and if you go there in the crawl space, it's very dark and creepy crawl space. Sweet. All right, so that was the ground floor. So now we do the, what they say, the first floor. Which we can, I think, do a proper door here, door here, door, and then we'll keep this as the only going to be, I guess the only one that's not going to be lit is that little corridor down there. So, light, I guess we could put light in the bedrooms. Kind of a little torch thing. There's just no windows here, which is kind of creepy. It says that there's windows in the description, but there's no windows on the map, so I'm tempted not to... Any windows up. Light should be all over here. And then this area is all pretty lit up. Okay, and then we do doors. Doors. I think I'm just doing one door. So the double door thing gets really tricky with the way these new doors work. That one is locked. I don't think any of the others are locked. It's tricky though, because they get on the balcony, it's already hard to get up there. There's a trap up there, and then it's also locked. But I think I would allow them to like break down the balcony door. I'm tempted almost to use the window token versus the door token and make it so it's like one of those, I don't know, just an open door so they can kind of see inside. Although that means the, I would probably, depending on how loud the player characters are, I could allow them to get up here and be able to see inside without alerting anybody inside at the moment. To do that on Roll20, you use the window instead of the door, and the main difference is you can still lock the window and all that, but the window does not block sight. It does block movement. So that could be fun, because I just like the idea of them getting up to the balcony and be able to look inside. You know, that's the... I'm making that change. That's just cool. I'm changing this to like a window door thing. Or at least if it's not a full like glass screen door, then at least it's got some component that you can look through on, and you would be able to break in. But obviously, if you're breaking in, you're losing, you know, the element of surprise. And the trap would go off. When does the trap go off? When you try to open the door, right? Number 9. No, it's not number 9. It's number 7. if the doors are opened. Yep. And yet they're still trapped. Or they're still locked. So they have to be, the lock has to be picked or broken down. But then as soon as that happens, the balcony actually flips down and they would fall. Now the tricky thing is the players may actually argue that like, well, wait a minute, we can like stick to surfaces. Can we actually fall? In which case I would say, well, I would probably allow them a dexterity. That's probably the best way to handle it. Is give me a dex save to avoid falling, because it's still like the ground is coming out from underneath you. You don't necessarily sticking to ground all the time. But I would give players a dex save to be able to like hang on to like one of the chairs, for example. And the other thing is obviously once the trap gets triggered, then that would alert all the enemies inside, and then you're hanging on for dear life, you know, while everybody's attacking you. I could see us needing a bigger thing here. I'm making the there we go. So you got some outer area to work with at least. All right, and we want to change all of these guys to spies. We could keep the number, but that's, we're probably gonna have to reduce the number actually. So if there's 2 on the first floor, we'll reduce the number of spies in the parlor from 4 to 3. But I may keep the 2 in the rooms because those can be staggered by like another round or 2. So I think we could do that. And then change those 2 on the roof to spies. I definitely see us not having to use the roof though. Even though it's kind of a nifty like final escape thing, but I could, if anything, it's gonna be, you know, the guy running up the stairs, jumping on the glider, and then Mac just shooting his ass down. Now here in the final room in area 10 is where we could play with some of the other unique stat blocks. Let's update some of the secrets. Oh, there's a secret door going directly from the stairs into the treasure room. That's interesting. Does it talk about that one? Did I miss that one? Because the stair room does not have its own. Let's see. It doesn't talk about that secret door, though. Notice the metal plate. Notice the ingots. Yeah, it doesn't talk about that. Secret door right there. Notices the stuff in area 11. 10 doesn't have anything in there, and then 9 would not be in there. And then 8 actually refers to this corridor up here. Huh. Yeah, there's a secret room into the... Because that would be pretty fun if they ended up finding this door and thought, oh man, we found the treasure room, but the treasure room is just completely trapped. And not only that, but it would alert these bad guys in here. But it doesn't say... What kind of passive perception do they have? Max got a 14. Sabra's also got a 14. That's not bad. But I don't know. I usually go with a 15. Or just spotting things. Obviously, the DC's here are a lot higher than I would normally use. I need to put the lights in this room as well. Lights. Lights. And then the trophy room. Get some lights, and then we'll do some doors. 1, 2. It just seems weird to like make the false treasure room very inaccessible when it's like full of traps and you almost sadistically want people to be able to make their way into the treasure room and thus be discouraged, I guess. Oops. Because all the treasures are full of traps. Doors. And doors there, and we'll keep the secret door there. So if we replace these two bandit lords with our guild thieves, there we go. So those make better minions, I think. I still like the idea of a pretty difficult boss fight here. And then the boss, I don't like him cowering in the bed. That's fucking lame. Could we even get away with using this Thief Lord if I want to give him a cube of force that he's got on him? What is the cube of force? Use an action to press one of the cube's faces, expending a number of charges based on the chosen face, shown in the cube of force's face table. Each face is a different effect. If the cube has insufficient charges remaining, nothing happens. Barrier of invisible force springs into existence, forming a cube at 15 feet on a side. The barrier centered on you moves with you and lasts for 1 minute unless you use an action to press the cube's sixth face or the cube runs out of charges. If your movement causes the barrier to come into contact with a solid object that can't pass through the cube, you can't move any closer to that object. So you can choose which thing you don't want to pass through. It's like a limited wall of force, which seems pretty fucking cool. So she's having to go through the motion to really unlock this item. Gases, winds, and fogs can't pass the barrier, so make it so you can't be like poison gas and shit. Non-living matter can't pass through the barrier. Walls, floors, and ceilings can pass through at your discretion. So non-living matter would be like weapons, right? Like arrows and shit. So that would be a pretty useful one for him to do. Living matter can't pass through the barrier. So obviously just fists and tentacles and stuff. Tongues. Spell effects can't pass through the barrier. These are all different ones. So that's interesting. He can't block both spells and arrows. You're going to have to choose one or the other. Nothing can pass the barrier. Walls, floors, and ceilings can pass through at your discretion. Wow. And zombies, yeah. Zombies are... Oh, but zombies... Are zombies non-living matter? That's really interesting. I didn't even think about that. Because they're not... I mean, the rules as intended... I would assume living matter would mean creatures can't pass through the matter, but it doesn't say creatures, it says living matter. And zombies are not alive. Would zombies be a spell effect? This is interesting. I'll have to look up the rule for that. So having an enemy be able to use this would be fascinating. Although he can say nothing can... But if he says nothing can pass the barrier, it just means for 1 minute, like, nobody can attack him. That's not that interesting for a boss fight, right? It's just like, oh, for 1 minute he turns that on and then he just, like, runs away. So he can still pass through walls, floors, and ceilings. So he can move, but then he just like barrels. He's just like surrounded by a wall of force, and he can escape if he activated that. Has 36 charges and regains 1d20 expended charges daily at dawn. Oh, interesting. It takes more charges to do the bigger thing, too. I just noticed that. So it takes 5 charges to do the... nothing can pass the barrier thing. But there's no limit other than the charges you have. So he could like be attacking, and then if I wanted him to escape, he could turn on the complete nothing can pass through the barrier, and that would allow him to escape. But I don't want him to escape. It's not very interesting. But at least we could start a little like chase sequence or something. I probably wouldn't let it last for a minute, but maybe when he gets on the glider and they have Mac or somebody be able to shoot him down. So that could be kind of cool. But yeah, you could basically make him turn... Basically, it's almost like a boss fight where like the boss is immune to different things every round. That's fascinating, right? You've all had video game bosses like that. Where it's like, oh shit, now he's immune to spells. Oh shit, now he's immune to arrows. I don't think I can make him specifically immune to zombie attacks because... I don't know. I guess non-living matter would be the same thing as the arrows almost. But then... Yeah, all of it's very interesting. So just giving him this ability. Now, whether when I use this Thief Lord stat block, I'm not sure. The Bandit Lord looked like it had too many hit points. Where was the Thief Lord? There you are. I think it's just an assassin. I think it's a slightly reflavored assassin. But having him have the Cube of Force is delicious, I think. Isn't that just the assassin stat block? Let's see. What is the difference? Assassin, AC 15, hit point 78, evasion, assassinate. Actually, the assassins. Or sorry, I'm looking at the guild thief. I'm looking at the wrong one. That's why. Thief Lord is the one I want. Open up, Thief Lord. There we go. All right. AC 15, armor class 70. Hit point 78, CR 8, dex of 6. Actually 18. The Thief Lord's got more dex. Thief Lord's got a lot more charisma, which is funny. Attacks, they both have multi-attack. Assassin has 2 short sword attacks and has poison on the short sword. And also is equipped to the light crossbow with poison. The Thief Lord has a lot more poison. 76 poison damage. Christ. In a rapier and then a hand crossbow. So the crossbow's a lot weaker. The melee attack's a lot stronger. Cunning action, evasion, and a sneak attack, which does 4d6 damage. And a reaction, protect me. Thief Lord can sidestep behind an ally within 5 feet, moving to occupied space within 5 feet. Ally becomes a target of the attack instead. That's pretty fun. Thief Lord has higher AC, but fewer hit points. I think I may actually stick to this Thief Lord. Glamored studded leather. Boy, evasion. That's a pain in the butt to deal with, but both assassin and him's got evasion. Sneak attack already gives him a bunch of damage. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this, but I may actually use the... No, it's still 76 poison damage, even on the assassin. Wow. I may lower that a lot. The poison damage is nasty. If I lower that... I've got a +7. I may combine these 2 stat blocks, basically. Because I think the assassin actually has weaker melee attacks. But I like the Thief Lord's protect me and fewer hit points. So I think we're going to come up with something in the middle too. Man, I've gone way over, but I started late, so I felt bad about... I wanted to go a little bit later, but as you can see, we've had a lot to cover with a very last minute change real quick of just cobbling together a dungeon. We've got our adventure hook. I honestly think I'm going to run this pretty much as is. I don't have a lot of time because I've got more... Well, the patron game's pretty much prepped, but I still have to do my usual panic before we run that one tonight, and I'll basically only have like just a little bit of time tomorrow to fully prep for this session, which is why I wanted something that was basically going to hit the ground running and ready to go and is hopefully going to be decently balanced for only 2 player characters. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. We've got a nice little side adventure cropped up. Please be patient with us because we've got the 2 most baby aggro players, toddler aggros, and the only ones I've got this week. But so it may be a little bit of a crazy session, but I'm hoping we can squeeze something in there and still go live for everybody and have a good time. But I think that is going to do it for this very exciting special edition of Last Minute Prep for Crafting the Deep. If you enjoy the content, please check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. Shouts to Platinum patrons Joe, Will, Thomas, Stan, Brandon, Genocider, Eclectic, Roleplayer, Roll, Christopher, Corey, Big Nut, John, F, John, L, Eric, Tyler, Nathan, Cap Crystalite, Counselor, Andrew, Daryl, the Reldrin, Captain Woody 79, Stephanie, Andy, Patrick, Jason, Ismail, Amit, Lumpy Spuds, and Sharny. And gold patrons, RPG, Papercrafts, Pretty Boy, and Yuma, Dead Lizard Lounge, Sam, Jerome, Nathan, Fast Like a Tortoise, Scott, Rufus, Carolyn, Jerry, Thomas, Glenn, Marcus, and Mark. Thank you all very much for your support. I will see you for D&D tomorrow night, and patrons that are playing in the game, see you.